Hey everyone, thanks again for joining me. As you can see, on location, I'm actually away for the weekend, so getting my vlog in today from my hotel room. Very happy to say that I am now done with the final draft of that short story, so we're done. That story is now out, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll be sending that story off for kind of lit mag submission probably in the next few days, just slowly sending it off. There's a lot of lit mags right now that are taking submissions for like their summer issues. We'll see what happens. I've said before that I don't have a lot of faith that this one will necessarily get out there. It just, again, the content of the story and all that just doesn't seem to be something that I could see a whole lot of people being interested in addition to some of the problems I've laid out before. But you never know. You have to sort of take a shot. Just happy to be done. And in truth, now that I am done, like now that this story, I can put this story behind me, a lot of the worries that I had about it have sort of gone away. That a lot of the insecurities, the fretting, the time that I spent on here talking about all the things that were wrong with it, it's now gone away. It's now in a state of, well, we'll see what happens. You know, it's beyond your control. You've basically pushed your boat as far as you could out into the ocean, and now it's up to sort of the currents and the winds to take it wherever it goes, if it goes anywhere at all. And I think that's probably the healthiest attitude you can ever have towards your art, is the idea that even if it's something that you don't think will ever be published, something that people will not like, something that you can see a ton of small things wrong with, at the very, very, very least, you should be able to say, hey, I did what I could with this piece. I took something that was a very challenging subject, that was a very niche subject, something that people may just outright reject just for the content of it, and be happy that you got as far as you did with it, that you revised it constantly over and over and over and over and over, that you reworked the story as many times as you possibly could. At this point, I can say that that's how I feel now. And it's time to move on. We have another story on the docket here. It's the last one, kind of my last sort of goal for the spring. Once we get to June, it's all self-publication. It's 3 months of getting my story finalized for self-publication. So we've got about 6-7 weeks, whatever it is, to get this last story revised. And in truth, I'll be honest, I think it'll probably take that amount of time. I could be wrong. I could be quite wrong. It might not take me anywhere near that long, but these things tend to take a bit longer than you think, at least usually. Although I will say, like, this story I got done relatively quickly. Only what a couple weeks, maybe like 10 days, something like that. I think I spent on it. I can't remember, but this story seemed to have gone by relatively quickly. So perhaps everything else goes by just as quick. I don't know. It seems like just a week ago I was on here complaining about being stuck with this writer's block on this first draft of a tale that I was writing. Now it feels like, hey, I'm already past that now. Now I'm ready to rock here. So maybe it won't take me that long. Maybe I'll be done with this final draft of this next story in maybe a few weeks, and that leaves me perhaps the better part of a month to get an additional small project done. I don't know. when I lay out my goals, it's always with the assumption that these things are going to take a bit longer than they normally do. I will set out stretch goals that I usually can't accomplish, but even with stretch goals in mind, I usually anticipate that the amount of time it takes to get some of these stories done will be far, 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 far longer than what it ends up being. We'll find out. Certainly, it'd be interesting to have kind of a bonus to get done within a few weeks if I should get this final draft done. We'll find out. But I'm excited. 3 stories in this collection done by the end of May. That's a nice feeling. So we'll see what happens. We're going to find out. I hope you all have been enjoying following along this process here, and I'll be back tomorrow.